What's up everyone, James here, and in today's video I want to talk about my Betta fish that I own. Now, anybody that follows me on my social media or my YouTube or my podcast will know that I like to be very transparent about everything that I do within the fish keeping hobby for myself personally, and today's no different with that. And yeah, this relates to my Betta fish. So I've had this fish now, it's a veil-tail Betta. It came from a chain pet store in the UK. It was in a community tank at the time, and for the most part, you know, it was all right with other fish and stuff, but the thing I want to talk about is obviously the fish's health and stuff. And I've had this fish now for about 1.5 years, and since I got it, it's gone from being very healthy to a point where, like, I've tried everything possible to keep this fish alive, and unfortunately nothing has been successful. And a few days ago I unfortunately lost the fish to illness, and that's what I wanted to talk about really. So what I did, and I mean, I have done possibly about 3 videos related to this fish in terms of trying to get this fish back to a good health, and I've never released any of the videos because I never actually successfully done it. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about what the fish had. So, you know, for me, I experienced white spot, internal parasites, fin rot, and you know, it's not an illness, but also, you know, you have to deal with aggression sometimes with Bettas, and the more ill that it got, I felt the more aggressive it was getting towards other fish and stuff. So, you know, they're always temperamental when it comes to other aquatic animals anyway. But yeah, like I said, for the most part, the fish I bought from a chain store, and it was in a community tank. So a few months that I had the fish, it was fine in those environments. And then, like I said, as the health declined, then it started to get a bit more territorial and grumpy, I guess, with other fish. So with regards to the medications and stuff that I tried, obviously I went down the initial route of trying something like aquarium salt. So I used this API aquarium salt, and I've used this countless times in the aquariums that I've had my Betta in, and yeah, it seems to have made marginal improvements in terms of ick or white spot. So unfortunately, after a lot of trial and error, the salt didn't really make that much of a difference. It was marginal for the ick or the white spot. You know, sometimes it went and then flared up again, and where I was commonly noticing the white spots appearing was on the fish's sort of back, and on one of his eyes, on the left eye I believe it was, and it was like proper, you know, all covering his eye, and there was a few other spots appearing as well. So obviously aquarium salt is great as an initial thing. Unfortunately, it killed a lot of my plants, which I was doing a review on, but fish's health first. So salt was the way to go first, but that didn't work. So I turned to a few other products that I'd been sent a while back by a company called Escher Laboratories. A lot of people rave about their products in terms of fish health and stuff, so I thought I'd give them a go. And the first ones that I tried was Escher Exit, which treats white spot and velvet, and also Escher 2000, which treats fin rots, gill problems, funguses, bacterias, skin problems, all that sort of stuff. So I tried them, and I felt like it again made marginal difference. The thing that I noticed probably most is the fish just went really lethargic and just stopped swimming around for a while, and obviously I checked the dosage instructions and everything for the aquarium size they've got, so I made sure that was all okay, so I wasn't overdosing. Did the treatment for 3 days like I said, and you know, fish perked up a little bit but never fully recovered. And like I said, the one thing that I did notice was that after a long time, I'm talking months, the Betta's tail started to grow back and colour up really nicely. So I thought I was onto a good thing by just using like regular water changes, making sure that it was as clean as possible, dosing the medications, sometimes using the salt, sort of seeing how I go, but I try to avoid the medications and keep to the salt as much as possible, but that didn't work as well. And then I noticed some other things appearing, you know, like the fish was having like these things coming out of its bum, like that wasn't poo, well it was, but it was a funny color and stuff. And when I consulted Escher direct about it, they suggested try it, possibly that it was internal parasites. So I bought some of this Escher NDX, and this is what that treats for, is internal sort of parasites and bits and pieces like that. Dosed that, didn't really make much of a difference, if I'm honest. I think that probably wasn't, I don't know, it might have been too much for the fish, or, you know, in terms of what the illness was and that. So, you know, again, fish sort of kept going, sort of plodding along, and I felt like all this fish was doing in the time that I had it was just surviving, and it wasn't thriving or anything. You know, obviously I looked at my water parameters and things like that. Noticed the area that I'm in obviously has a lot of hard water and stuff, so I have a RO unit, and I try to, you know, change the water parameters very slowly to a more softer type of water that the fish is obviously naturally found in, and still, you know, minimal difference to the fish. And recently, the only difference I made recently was just treated again with some white spot to see if that helped. And about a week or so later, I noticed the fish just, you know, sort of laying there in the substrate of all the leaves which are in its aquarium. So, you know, I didn't get any footage because, you know, it's not always nice to see that sort of stuff, but I do have a picture that I took, so maybe I'll put that up on the video and stuff, because it is important to see. But yeah, it's just on reflection, it's just, as I've said many times before, I think that the fish has just caused me so much more stress and worry, and I've never really enjoyed having the fish, apart from obviously the first few months that I had it, when it was really nice and looked great and stuff. But gradually over time, I feel like I've spent more time worrying about the fish than I have actually enjoying it. And I've laid in bed many a times thinking, what do? You know, I've consulted with you know, like Escher and their doctors and stuff that they have on hand, to see if there was anything else that I could try, but unfortunately, yeah, you know, this time around it didn't work out. So yeah, not great, but lessons learned, I guess. And you know, you learn how to treat these kind of things, or ways that you should be doing. But I think what's most important to realize is that, you know, it's making sure that you've got the right conditions from the beginning, probably, is the lesson learned. Again, beginner mistakes. I think, you know, when I first started out in the hobby, you know, you don't sort of tend to think about everything, I think, and you don't end up doing a lot of the research, or you go out and impulse buy. I've said before that I've accidentally done this in the past. Now it's a lesson well learnt, and I don't do anymore. But yeah, it's still worth talking about and discussing, and yeah, I think that's very important for people to do in this hobby, is to talk about the bad side as opposed to all the good things. So I hope you enjoyed this video or learned something from it. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and let me know your experiences with Betta fish in the comments below. I know a lot of people have really great experiences, and I wish I was one of them, but unfortunately I never got off the ground very well with this one. So yeah, maybe I'll try again in a few years time, or if I ever have a spare aquarium or feel like giving it a go again, who knows. But yeah, for now I think that I'm going down a different route with the aquarium that I have, and yeah, we'll see how we get on with that. And until next time, you stay safe.